Good evening, Sat Sri Akal.
Good evening, Mr. Bedi, and good evening, all of you.
Thank you so much. I'm
Good evening,
Sudeep Gill, and
Sudeep.
I'm Executive Director of Punjabi Chamber of
Here,
Commerce.
here.
We welcome you all to the formal launch of Chandigarh chapter today. Thank you so much for joining me. Before we begin, let me first of all give a very warm welcome to our trustees, Mr. Harman Singh ji, Mr. Keshlal ji. Thank you so much for joining in, sir. I have a great privilege in introducing our co-chairs of Chandigarh chapter today. He is Mr. Param Kalra, Mr. Sukhwinder Bradji. We have a committee of varied hues and colors today. We have with us Mr. CJ Singh today, Mr. Manmeet Bhatti also. Mr. Subir Sidhu is also here today, Mr. Yogesh Verma, Mr. Amandeep ji, Mr. Harvinder Paul Singh ji, Mr. Vikas Jolly ji, Mr. Surinder Suman, Mr. Jaspreet Brar, Mr. Navdeep Brar also, and Ms. Sumit Kaur. In fact, Ms. Sumit Kaur will be co-hosting the event today with me. Let me first of all invite Mr. Gurpreet Pasricha, the founder member of Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, to formally launch the chapter of Chandigarh today. Over to you, sir.
Yes, Sat Sri Akal ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਮਸਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਪਸਰੀਚਾ ਹੈਗਾ I am originally from Patiala, not too far from Chandigarh. I have many relatives in Chandigarh, and I'll tell you a short story about Chandigarh for me personally. I was visiting about 10 years ago, and I took a bus from Patiala. And I didn't really realize how Chandigarh works. And all I knew was my cousin lived, I don't know, I forgot what sector it was back then, I think 34 or whatever. And I had no idea where it was, and I wanted to surprise her at her house. So I took the bus thinking that I could easily find where everything is. And little did I realize that this bus stops at one of your roundabouts, near one of your roundabouts. And I guess Chandigarh is a city of roundabouts, which I did not know. And then I found myself getting a little worried because I would see all these signs at the roundabouts, which sector is there. And then I asked the bus driver, I said, I want to go to this one place. And he's like, मेरे को कोई टाइम नहीं हैगा तुसी जितना करना करी जाओ. And so then I just decided to get off at any roundabout, and luckily I found a very good rickshaw driver who took me to where I needed to go. But welcome to all of you, and let me give you a little bit more history about who we're about and me personally and our team. We are there, we formed this Punjabi chamber about 3 years ago, and this was a big undertaking by the community, for the community. We started in a small group, only about 4 or 5 of us, and we had this vision that we wanted to help our community. And then the group grew bigger, and I'm proud to say that now we are numbering in the thousands. But my special thank you goes out in particular to our wonderful trustees who trusted us and who really contributed the initial corpus for getting this initiative off the ground. And the initiative, so the initiative was that how does the Punjabi community work together in a non-partisan, non-political, and non-religious way? And this is the main issue, right? And how do we create this loving community where we can all help each other. And this is what we try to do. So ਸਾਡੇ charter 'ਚ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ politics ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ, ਕੋਈ religion ਦੀ platform ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. So all of these things are really the foundation for the Punjabi Chamber. We went to the Punjabi community and we saw what was wrong and we tried to fix it. And ਕਈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਣੀ, ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ. ਸੋ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਯਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੰਦੇ. ਐਂਡ ਉਹ ਦੇ ਕੋਈ ਪਰਸਨ ਵਧਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਲੱਤ ਫੜ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੱਗੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣ ਦਿੰਦੇ. ਐਂਡ ਯੂ نو ਮੈਂ ਬਲੀਵ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਆਹ ਗੱਲ ਦੀ. ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ? ਐਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਰਸਨ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਏਦਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਦੂਸਰੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ. ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, that's what counts, right? So as long as in our hearts we're good, we can always help others. And that's really the one thing that we all have in common in the PCC. It's our love for our community, love for each other. And of course, the one basic thing that we are working on and are exploiting in our case is the Punjabi drive for seva. And this is in our DNA. And ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪਰਸਨ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਭੁੱਖੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ. ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਘਰ ਰਹਿਣਾ, ਉਹ ਆਪ ਥੱਲੇ ਲੇਟ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਸਤਰਾ ਦੇਣਗੇ. ਸੋ ਆਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਲਚਰ 'ਚ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੈਰੈਕਟਰ 'ਚ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ. And unfortunately, because of geopolitics, let's call it, or other issues, religious issues and differences, we have not been able to work together as a community the way other communities have. For example, here in the US, the Jewish community has done a tremendous job working together and enriching their community. And in terms of Indian communities, of course, the Gujarati community, they've done a wonderful job of working together and enhancing the opportunities for their communities. If you look at the Andhra communities as well, in particular, okay? So we're not doing anything new. What we are doing is creating a platform where everyone can work together and help the community. So unlike other chambers, when we formed this, you know, I said to all our trustees, ki assi fee nahi charge karni, and we're going to be supported by our community. And the businesses will support us, and that's going to be the basis for any sort of fees which are required to keep us alive. But we are not going to charge basic membership fee because we need the next generation to join. And so now we have a platform of businesses and professionals who can join for free and become part of this community, this chamber. And they can enrich not only themselves, but others as well. Right. So, you know, if you see the screen, we said, why now? I discussed this already, but I'll give you another story, and I apologize for some of you who may have known it before, but, you know, takriban, you know, I think 6-7 saal pehla, main California si, koi convention te. And har person keh raha si ki mera ladki ta ji Harvard jandi hai, mera munda ta ji Stanford janda, and they were talking, big things, as we all do. But I said to them, ਦੇਖੋ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਕਸੈਸਫੁਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਨੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ, ਪਰ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਵਧਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਰ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੱਖ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਰਾਈਟ? ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸੈੱਟ ਹੈ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੋ, ਤੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ, right? Whatever it is, we should be happy, but we have a duty to give back and to help others who are not offered the same opportunities, whether in business or the like. Now, I'm an attorney, and when I started my practice more than 25 years ago, I didn't know anyone. And how great would it have been if the community could have supported me? And even just with mentorship, forget about cases. ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਵਕੀਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਥੋੜੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ, ਸਲਾਹ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ, ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੌਸਲਾ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕੋਈ ਸਾਥੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਟ੍ਰਿਪ 'ਚ. So this is what we're all trying to feature and to have in our community. So what does the platform that we developed offer? And that's really the basis now. So of course we have free membership. We have different programmings which are coming up, right? We have our Mentor Connect program, which we're working on. We have a searchable directory. We have in-app messaging. Okay, so you can have P2P messaging and really be able to communicate with other members. We have a classified section so you can post, right? We can have we're having group benefits. We've already negotiated group benefits with hotel chains, insurance companies, and those are going to be posted pretty soon, right? Thing that I'm really excited about is our investor groups, because we need these investor groups in particular to help provide capital for our startups in our ecosystem. How do we get this going where our ecosystem has this constant supply of capital? And the only way to do that is to expose our startups to others in our communities. So when you're looking at this, every community has a way of helping each other. So there's nothing to feel bad. Sometimes people from other communities come to me and say, why are you only doing Punjabi? You're not doing Indian. Like, dekho ji, Indian bhi ho jayega, but we need to get organized ourselves so we can help. Punjabis always help everyone in their communities. And our platform is actually open to everyone. So, you're seeing this was in New York City, and we had leaders from Microsoft and from other groups there who were speaking on their journeys to entrepreneurship. And so with all these things, even on our platform, you have an opportunity to participate. You have an opportunity, more importantly, to give back. And if you need help, we have opportunities for you too. Okay. Couple of short things. These are success stories which are recently are being, I guess, for us, really used for us as a barometer of whether our platform is working or not. So a few months ago, we had a young person from our Untitled chapter who needed a job, and he said, look, can you help us? And I said, look, we can't guarantee you a job, but what we can try to do is at least try to get you interview or get your resume out there. And that's what we did. And I posted the resume. In 10 minutes, the young man got an interview. He was shocked. And recently in our Delhi chapter, there's a young attorney who said, look, I'm looking for a job. Can you help us? And then we put him in touch with an established law firm, and they quickly offered him a job. So I ask you, that is what Seva is about for us anyway. Sade community, langar and other things are very strong, as we all know, which is good. But majority of us Punjabis, let's be honest, are beyond that now. What we need to do is to engage in other forms of giving back to the community. And that's really what this chapter, what this thing does, our platform. So the lifeblood of our chamber are the local chapters. And we're doing it a little bit different from other groups in the sense that we believe that we have to form our committees first, our volunteers, and for lack of a better word, sevadars. And that's what we all are. We are sevadars. And so what we do is we go out into the communities and we find sevadars who wish to be leaders. We put them together, men, women, Hindu, Sikh, different occupations, different backgrounds. We put them all together, and then we see, ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਦਾਲ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਜਿਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਇਕੱਠੇ. And that's really what it's about. So the chapters are now 13 in number. We have New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Toronto, Vancouver, London, and in India, Delhi, Chandigarh, Jalandhar, Amritsar, right? Mumbai. And I'm proud to say pretty soon we're opening a chapter in the Bay Area. That committee is almost formed in San Francisco. Okay. And we're in talks right now in Australia as well, Sydney. So the reason why we did all these committees is that the Punjabi community right now, the Punjabi diaspora, is almost everywhere. But we don't have anything that can help us connect us to each other. And so we don't have a way that if your child is a foreign student and he or she is going to Toronto, do they really know what they are getting themselves into? Do they know about the job opportunities there? Do they know which school to attend? Right? Can there be someone that can help them there as well? And these are the issues facing our community. And also within Punjab, what are we doing to prevent the brain drain that our community is facing? What are we doing to help professionals and businesses within Punjab either become successful or stay successful? Right? This is something we need to ask ourselves. We cannot just rely on government handouts and other things or blame others. We have to take a look at ourselves and say, okay, what have we done? Do we have opportunities for our next generation to stay in India, in Punjab, etc.? And this is something that all communities face, not just us. But like the other communities, we have to do something about it. And so our Punjabi chamber is dedicated to helping our community in all of these sectors. So one of the things we realized was that we have so many wonderful people on the platform who wish to give back, but they don't know how to. And that's why we formed the Punjabi Chamber Foundation. And realistically, in response to the COVID crisis at first, we felt we had to give back to our communities. And we raised $35,000 in 2 weeks. And you're seeing food drives that we co-sponsored with other groups. And, you know, this is Sing and Sing Distributors, who are one of our trustees, the Bakshi family. And, you know, we sponsored food, irrespective of the background of the beneficiaries, of course. We are in our communities, does not matter who the beneficiaries are, the benefactors are. It is for humanity that we are giving back. So we've been blessed in our businesses, wherever we are, some of us, and it's our duty to give back. And that's what the Punjabi Foundation does. And we look forward to continuing this post-COVID world and having scholarship funds, micro capital, especially for women entrepreneurs and the like. So I'm going to just mention briefly a few things, and you're going to see some more photos about PCF and the like. You know, one of the things which when we were interviewing people throughout the world, is they said, well, look, when we go to traditional groups, there's no space for women. There's no space for younger people. And because it's so dominated by, you know, you uncles, you old timers or whatever. And our stuff is that there are equal opportunities for all. The platform does not discriminate. It's open to all, as I said before. Doesn't matter. But we have to be part of one community and able to network. And the old way of networking has totally changed, as we know. A person from outside of Chandigarh now can communicate very easily, of course, through the internet and other means. These are things that we have, I guess, embraced as part of our chamber, that women entrepreneurship, young person's entrepreneurship can be enhanced, can be really jump-started by our platform. And so we urge you to get involved in our community, you know, become a mentor, obviously become a member, go to punjabichamber.com, it's free, right? Please join us on this journey as we're just getting started. And I thank you for your time. And I guess after our keynote speaker, I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
So Deepji, you're not audible.
Thank you so much, sir, for this informative presentation on Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. I have a great pride in welcoming our trustee, Mr. Parminder Sethi ji, also to this event. Mr. Jagdev Virdi, our global advisor from London, he's also here. Thank you so much for joining in, sir. I do have, I would like to give a very warm welcome to Mr. Indi Samra as well, our co-chair from New Jersey chapter. Thank you so much, Mr. Samra, for joining in. Now we have Ms. Sumit Kaur, my co-host of the evening. She is one of our pillars of our Chandigarh chapter. Ms. Sumit Kaur ji, I welcome you. I invite you to sail us through the rest of the evening. Ms. Sumit Kaur ji.
Thank you so much, Sukhdeep ji, and a very warm good evening and good morning to those who are joining in from other countries. And yes, very well, executed and obviously briefed by Gary ji. I was just blown with the mission we have. But yes, since this is an evening to launch Chandigarh chapter, so I would like to say a very pyar pari sat shri akal to everybody. Since we all are Punjabis and I understand that Punjabi has to be our core language, the mission and vision of Punjabis to share the maximum, to be sevadars, to share especially their earnings, their living with everybody so that every community can be and live in harmony. That is our main aim. So taking this launch further, we have a very prominent guest already with us. And I would first of all invite Mr. Ajay Srivastav ji. And he is a well-known name for all the startup ecosystem in the Tri-City. He is heading as additional director to STPI Mohali since 2008, which caters to the state of Punjab, Chandigarh, part of Haryana, and Himachal Pradesh. And under him, the region has registered export of more than rupees 4,700 crores of export in last financial year. He himself is an engineer in electronics, and yes, he is alumni of BITS Pilani, Rajasthan. He has worked for 2 years in the system house of Siemens as programmer in the area of industrial automation division. We welcome you, sir. And yes, today it is a great pleasure for all of us to have you here. We would always like to have your word of expertise on Punjabi Chamber of Commerce launch and what exactly you expect from us, all of us here as a community. And yes, how can you support us further? So over to you, Ajay Srivastav, sir, for next 5 minutes. We wish to, take this flow very smoothly further. And we all are busy in our schedule, so we are planning it very wisely. And yes, I always request everybody present, please write down your queries in the chat box. As Gary sir said, we'll take your queries by the end of this session after keynote speaker. So over to you, Ajay sir.
Thank you, Sukhpreet ma'am. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Perfectly audible.
Sir, you're audible.
Sukhdeep ji and respected Sri Vivek Atre ji. He's not only my senior, but he's also my mentor. And under his guidance, I've learned a lot. And on this forum, I really want to show my gratitude to him and the other dignitaries, especially Mr. Gurpreet, wonderful presentation. And sir, I started my career from Madhya Pradesh, then I was heading Rajasthan, and in my past 21 years of my job, I've spent 11 years in Punjab. So I think मेरा भी पंजाबी पे थोड़ा हक बनता है. And आपने जो बात कही सर, when we run an incubation center, we have to be really a sevadar. And आज के time में, in today's moment, if the startup fails, it only fails because they don't have a very good mentorship. And if we really want to increase the mortality of the startup, we really have to work as a community, and we have to really unite together, and we should support any upcoming young entrepreneur. I had a very good time with Param. In fact, we had a good time of training when we are doing this incubation manager training in ISB. We spent five days together, and it was fantastic to spend time with him. The kind of attitude he has, and the way he has developed the incubation center and guiding the entrepreneurs, it is really a great passion of him. And what I feel is there is a need of the hour. We should have a very strong Punjabi connect, and we should all work together how we can grow this region as a whole. From my side, we are one of the biggest incubation center in India. We have around 1.4 lakh square feet of building with tier 3 standard data center. And we are creating a kind of an environment wherein any youngster who joins us can set to a path of a growth. That's our aim, and it would be great to collaborate with you during this journey, and together we will win and we will achieve higher goals in Punjab. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me to this forum. And I look forward for more interaction in the coming days. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was such a heartwarming words, and I believe, yes, your support and along together as a Punjabi, since you're in Punjab for so long now. So we'll be together catering so many queries regarding ecosystem of startups, and then obviously try to help them. Yes, as known further, I mean, Punjabis are known for their seva, for their hand holding, and then their sharing. So this is the same vision with which this Punjabi Chamber of Commerce is working. Now, not wasting another minute, I'll definitely like to invite Mr. KDS Bedi, Professor KDS Bedi. Now, he's somebody who doesn't need much of the introduction, and he is simply synonym of positive energy. Since he has joined even in this meeting, we all are full bright with his presence. So Professor Bedi is known as somebody who is expert in soft skill, who is expert in behavioral and sales training. He has been certified as a global sales merchandising trainer by Coca-Cola Company, Atlanta. Currently, he is vice president at Chitkara University, but he is also founder, director, principal of Chitkara School of Sales and Marketing. I welcome you, sir, and I also understand the kind of passion you have for young generation in terms of guiding and mentoring them to their successful career path is just immense, and it cannot be elaborated or I cannot express it in words. But now I hope today at the launch of Punjabi Chamber of Commerce you will be sharing your vision and your takeaways from us, and obviously blessing us with a lot of good wishes so that we work together in harmony. Over to you, Bedi sir. Bedi sir, I think he is not there.
There's some
I think
technical glitch, I think. Yeah.
yeah, this technical glitch.
Yeah, he's not there. Yeah.
Shall we proceed on to our next keynote speaker, and then we
Yes,
can invite Mr. Bedi after.
yes, definitely. Yes, next is on our list, Mr. Vivek Atre. I'm personally your fan, sir, and then I am taking this whole player to introduce you, sir. Okay,
Hello.
Baby sir
Hello.
is here. Baby sir is here. So
I'm so sorry that the connection got disconnected. I'm coming back from the campus, but I'm back with a connection now. First of all, thank you very much, Sheena ji, for such a brilliant, or rather very kind of you to introduce me with so many words. It's my privilege and honor to be part of this webinar. First of all, I must congratulate the team which has formed such a fantastic group, Mr. Gary and Mr. Pasricha, and it was heartening to hear the mission, the agenda of such a brilliant initiative, not only in one particular region, but the world over. And how important and how relevant it is in such times of, unprecedented and unparalleled challenging times, where your collaboration is the key word. It is an era, or it is the time where everybody is looking for any kind or some kind of collaboration, be it within the country or within your own community or the worldwide, whatever. Something that I appreciate when Mr. Pasricha said that paying back to society, and doing it, or rather starting it with something with your own community as such. That'll be extremely important. Probably we are blessed and privileged to have achieved something good in life, particularly those who have gone to countries like US or Canada, or for that matter, UK or Australia, and have done extremely well over the years to reach a stage where the world is, looking at Indians for their brilliant contribution in every field for that matter. So Punjabi community, we are so proud of it. I was, just to give you an example, I was in Kenya last November on the 550th anniversary celebration of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. I was invited as a keynote speaker by Ramgarhia mission there. And to my surprise, what I could see was that the community there, which has a history of having moved almost 100 years back and was taken by the Britishers to lay the railway line in Kenya, and they had taken Punjabi people, particularly from Amritsar region. They were very well built and tall and handsome, and they were very tough, and Britishers they had chosen them. But over the years, 100 years, that community is the richest community in Kenya. And in Nairobi, they have set up not only 1 but 4 gurdwaras, and everything they are paying back not only to their Punjabi fellows, but to others also, the downtrodden and everything. And that is the scene everywhere. I went to UK and it was found there same, So as you rightly said, that seva or pavna, that feeling to pay back is a blessing to all of us by our gurus and our prophets and all that. And how relevant is the time today? Because every third person, your neighborhood or your friends or maybe your colleagues are affected. And this has to be rather, done in a greater spirit. The time is so relevant. And keeping Chandigarh as a focus, I want to add something. Probably your choice of choosing Chandigarh is so great, sir, that probably next to Delhi, if you see, Chandigarh is the hub of education. 7 states in and around Chandigarh, for that matter, not only Punjab, Haryana, Himachal, rather Jammu and Kashmir, Uttaranchal, Rajasthan, Haryana, of course, is part of it. Students from these 7 states, aspire to reach Chandigarh to do their education. And it's happening for last almost 50 years, thanks to fantastic centers of excellence like Punjab University, which is 100 years old. But then there is so much of attraction for the youth in this part of the country where they want to come to Chandigarh. Similarly, in last 10 years, we have seen the health center, or it is also a healthcare hub. That there are so many hospitals coming up. There is so much of Medicare available, of high-class Medicare available. So, such an initiative in a city like Chandigarh is so well suited and is so timely that I want to compliment and congratulate each one of you present here today for launching this most exciting chapter of PCC, Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. My hearty congratulations to all. And it is absolutely an amazing and brilliant opportunity for all of us to associate with a common cause to empower our youth. And they have been in doldrums over many years. 150,000 students from Punjab alone went to Canada to look for greener pastures, just because it is very difficult for them to even earn 10,000 rupees in Punjab, because it is more lucrative to sell milk, which probably can get you 20,000 a month, of your return or remuneration, than to find a job which doesn't even pay you 10,000. And how important it is to empower them. Opening driving schools. We did in our own small bit. We opened a sales academy, the first of its kind in the country, which empowers these young graduates to look for jobs at the first rung as retail associates, as sales associates, because everybody cannot be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. What about the simple graduates who are BBA, BCom? So in last almost 5 years, we have got jobs to these young boys and girls, more than 1,000 in number, to earn with respect, to start their salary at minimum 25,000, and to empower and to work with the chin risen up and feeling proud. And this is our take, and this is how we plan to do when we associate with youth from today onwards, sir. This is my assurance, and congratulations to all who are present and to the organizers in particular. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for all the kind words and good wishes. And yes, we look further to stay in touch and be together in this mission. And now, not wasting another second, over to my favorite. And then, yes, I am a fan. I was elaborating. Mr. Vivek Atre. He is not only an ex-IAS, he is a motivational speaker, author, mentor, advisor, columnist, and visiting professor. So, yes, he is a founder of Suvichar think tank, visiting professor to Shulni University, member of CSR Advisory Board of Action Aid. He is also founder of Vibrant Networking Forum, Chandigarh Literary Society, and co-governor of Intact Chandigarh. And he has very diversified experience. And he is also member of Government's Advisory Council of Chandigarh UT. As DC Panchkula, he initiated projects as Aadhar Samman, respect for Aadhar Samman maybe, respect for elderly. All my apologies for to read it wrong. And yes, Mr. Atre holds a great interest in books and cricket. His novels like Move On Bunny and Dubeji Bounces Back. He writes fortnightly column in Random Forays for Hindustan Time. And yes, his book Finding Success within 52 life skills for young Indian. It is such a strong book that now when I've started reading on somebody's recommendation, I am loving with every word of it. I have heard Mr. Atre myself various times on various motivational points, and yes, had this privilege to meet him once at his home. So yes, over to you now as a keynote speaker. We want to all hear how and what you expect from us, and yes, how can this whole vision and mission work together as in a harmony, because we believe that hand holding is a strong point for each community, and Punjabi Chamber of Commerce with Punjabi community in hand wants to actually pump each other so well that we all stay in harmony in a world which is much more peaceful. And yes, everybody should be supporting each other. So over to you, Atre sir. And
Thank you
for
so much, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being so patient, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for the warm welcome, and also to Mr. Gurpreet Pasrija, very good presentation, and Mr. Vedi also spoke well, and my friend Ajay Srivastava Sahab, who's a very humble officer, and he calls me his mentor, but I wish we had worked together for longer before I left the IT department and the voluntary retirement of IAS. So, but very nice to see you all here, and also other friends who are here. I know Charanjit ji is here, and thank you Sukhdeep Gill for coordinating and inviting me also. Anyone I've missed, also warm welcome and thank you for inviting. So why are we here and what do we need to do? I'll just, as a keynote speaker, just highlight the bigger picture for you. And the bigger picture is also spotlight. My video has been made a bigger picture, so I should speak about the bigger picture. These days we are all in front of cameras, but these cameras are useful and we are speaking to not only the computer, but we are speaking to the entire world potentially. Because all these videos are placed on YouTube, etc. Anyone can watch us, so we are in the spotlight. Whatever we say can potentially be useful to somebody somewhere. So as a speaker, I feel that what I say is not only contextual to the day or the evening, it is words which matter, and perhaps a young person or not so young person can take inspiration, even 1% or 2% of it, and use it somewhere. I'll start with my inspiring moment of class 9 in school. I came from Delhi. I was in modern school Delhi, and my father was an IPS officer posted in Chandigarh. He pulled me out of Delhi before I became naughty, and he got me to Chandigarh, which is a much more calm and collected place. Nothing against Delhi. I was born in Delhi. But when I came here to Chandigarh in St. John's, I was in 9th class, and I was a new boy, and new boys are shy and quiet. I was shy and quiet, and the teacher was Brother Murray, an Irish teacher who was teaching English. And within a few days, he was writing something on the board. He asked a question to the class. He said something, something, and it begins with an O. So I raised my hand very hesitatingly. Nobody else raised their hands. And I said, sir, it means in the offing. So when I said offing, he was so delighted. He says, good boy. And when he said good boy to me that evening or that afternoon in school, I remember it till today, from 1981 perhaps to 2020. I have not forgotten that moment of inspiration. And the entire class looked at me, the new boy, that this boy is capable of at least something. It raised my morale like anything. So when somebody is teaching or instructing or mentoring or guiding or advising or motivating or inspiring, we have to be receptive. And when this Punjabi Chamber of Commerce is being launched by people who are already well-placed, successful, have seen life as it is, have been around the world, know the various perspectives, know the ground realities, and know the bigger picture as well as the minutest picture, then what is essential is that the ecosystem, the public, the common person, the small entrepreneur, the youngster takes benefit from such an initiative. It is a wonderful event that Chandigarh chapter is being launched. I can tell you that many a time as Director IT of Chandigarh, when we were setting up the IT park, and Ajay Srivastava was talking about that time in IT. And you see, what we were doing was also to establish chapters. And being in the government, I remember the Thai Chandigarh chapter was set up through our efforts, through entrepreneurs who were willing. I remember the CII chapter of Chandigarh, the regional office was expanded, and with our support and help in the government. So the stakeholders of government, industry, academia, and the entrepreneurs, they have to all come together to make something successful. And when we have a vision, and we have a workforce, and when we are selfless work is going to take it forward. So when we are self-centered, egocentric, concentrated on our own, whatever we are doing in life, it is not going to pay dividends to the society at large. What is going to pay dividends and really benefit the society at large is collaboration. And one of the words in your PPT, I think Mr. Pasrita's PPT, or in the introductory PPT of the chamber, was collaboration. And very often, even in this last 1 hour, community has been mentioned. So we need to build bonds which are everlasting, friendships which are everlasting, And communication has to be constant. When we have a launch, we need to retain the excitement of that launch for years to come. The energy levels have to be retained, magnified, expanded, and taken forward. We cannot allow our energy and enthusiasm to whittle away. So what we have to do is to put in place systems, mechanisms, procedures, and functions that are going to carry forward the chamber and its activities, irrespective of individuals. There can be a founder, there can be a driver, there can be a leader, there can be somebody inspiring, and that I see is there. But even after those individuals have hung up their boots or have gone on to other things, the energy of the environment of the organization have to survive, flourish, and sustain. So there was a seminar in Delhi and I attended that. It was about Australian cricket long ago, and I think HSBC had invited us to attend that. And John Buchanan, the coach of the Australian cricket team, was there. And he was a very self-effacing, very shy coach compared to some of the big personalities in cricket. And John Buchanan said something very good. He said, the job of the coach is to make the team so good that it functions on its own. And it doesn't look to the coach unless there's something really special required. So the coach need not interfere in day-to-day activities. The leader need not interfere in day-to-day activities, and I totally agreed with him. We make the organization so powerful, so impactful, so well-oiled, that it actually makes things happen on its own. I was speaking the day before yesterday, or maybe 4 days ago, at an international conference called Horasis. Horasis is a breakaway from the World Economic Forum, very intellectual people. And luckily for me, I was chairing a session on competing in a leaderless world. And there were speakers from Bulgaria, from the US, from England, from Australia, from China, and I was from India. And putting those people together before the event, getting them on one platform, thinking together, being disciplined in terms of time management, coming out with the thrust and coming out with impactful visionary words was a challenge. And one was able to do it only because of some experience, some communication skills, some hand-holding skills, some coordination skills, and getting all these diverse people with diverse accents, one of them not even comfortable in English at all, which was the language of the seminar or webinar. It had to be done. So I was very happy with the result. So what is required by a chamber of this eminence, this magnitude, where you have global presence, you have presence all over the world, and of course I'll be very happy to put in my experience in whatever way I can to help out. But what has to be done is to put the right people in the right place, to have the visionary founders handhold the right team, and to take it forward in a manner that is impactful at the ground level. So all our meetings and all our visionary speeches and all our keynote speeches and all our presentations will be useful only if we can show tangible results. And of course, momentum building, motivation, coordination is very important. But ultimately, tangible results are extremely more important. So what we need to do is to identify those common people who will benefit. It was said earlier, and I think Mr. Pasricha said, youngsters who were in the lurch, who lost their jobs, were given jobs, found jobs. I am part of a few groups or chambers or associations where similar things are happening, where if I have expertise in one area, I am able to help somebody who is lacking that experience, or somebody is in the lurch with financial crisis, in depression, I am able to help. Somebody else is able to help in some other expertise. So when we collaborate and come together like this, the chamber will do very well. And there are other bodies, there are other fora, there are other organizations which are also well-meaning and doing good work. There is no harm in collaborating with them to make a kind of federation. It is not it's not like that. We collaborate, we get together, we interact, we exchange, we communicate. And then the bigger picture emerges of a society, a community, a globe, a world which can flourish despite the ups and downs. And if you look at it, the leadership of the world at present in political terms is not, let's say, the best ever. Let's say it very mildly. We don't have the best ever global leaders. So let us have individuals who are fostering leadership. And the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce can foster, nourish, and encourage young leadership to come across. Not in the political domain perhaps, but in the industry, in commerce, in society, in communities. And then we will find that tangible results will come about. And we will not only be talking today into the air, but something which is very, very solid, which is full of resonance and impact, and results will be coming out of all this. So I think I don't have to give a long speech here. I just wanted to give a powerful message. And that powerful message in a nutshell is that when good people come together, and I don't mean good and bad as in good is the opposite of bad, but what I mean is well-meaning people, human beings who have their ups and downs, but who are ready to give back to society, to community, to their roots. That is the reason why these chambers and organizations are vital to the context. When we interact and exchange at a meaningful level, when we keep up the communication, when we don't lose each sight of each other for 3 months and then come back, when we are always in touch in one way or the other, something is always popping up from somewhere to our notice. And these days it's a world of pop-ups. Unfortunately, that garam chai and samosa and jalebi are only a figment of the imagination. And for more ways than one, we have to meet on screens, and we have to have our own pani and chai and green tea. So it is a changing world. But the heart has to be pure, the energy has to be pure, the powerful impact that we make has to be there. So my best wishes to the chamber, and I will be very happy to motivate any youngsters across the world who are in touch with you, who need inspiration, who need hand-holding, who need encouragement, who need advice. And please reach out to me at any time. And all friends who are here on this call, on this program, and others who are going to watch it later, I wish you well. I wish that the chamber really expands, really makes roots which are deep and which are meaningful. And all the people who have come together, my congratulations to you. I know the Punjabi spirit. I have been a Punjab person from 1980, though I was born in Delhi. And for the last 40 years, in Chandigarh, in Panchkula, in Punjab, in Haryana, I have been giving my best. And I can see the spirit is very high and very impactful. So all the best, and may the energy flow to the right directions, and stay in touch. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really powerful and much needed, inspirational, motivational, and yes, very much clarity of thought that everybody here requires now. Because this is not just one day we want to show our enthusiasm, it is like ever long association we want to have, so that our vision and mission works together hand in hand. So I would request, if you have any queries, very quickly just put it in the chat box so that we can ask Gurpreet Singh ji to answer those queries. And since I don't see much of it coming, I would now request Mr. Param Kalra and Mr. Sukhwinder Singh Barar to please chip in and extend a vote of thanks to all our special guests and dignitaries today.
Hello, everyone. What a great evening. We have so many enlightened people from the region, and I think it's a great association already turning up today. First of all, let me thank Mr. Vivek Atreji. I've been your fan always. I've heard you speaking on a lot of forums, a lot of podiums, and never could meet you personally. But otherwise, I think you're always with us, with the community, be it startups community or the entrepreneurship community of the region. So thank you so much for being here today. And we loved your suggestions. And definitely, I really love some of the points you raised. Because it's all about tangible action these days. Being part of global shapers and World Economic Forum. I myself have experienced a lot of changes in the last 4 days when it comes to seva, when it comes to community services. So, as also quoted by Gary, it's not only about because when it comes to Punjabi community, everyone thinks it's all about langar and being there on the roads in terms of a jalsa. But I think it's grown much more than that now. And we, as not only Punjabis, we as a global community, we need to collaborate on various aspects like economics, like jobs for students, like entrepreneurship, like startups, like supporting each other financially. We need to bring about that impact on ground, which is much more than the basics that have been taught to the Punjabi community over the history. So I think your words inspired us a lot. Thank you so much again.
You must drop in sometime after things are normalizing, and we'll discuss it in detail. I'll give you some more ideas. All right, we'll meet
Sure.
for the first time. Yeah.
Sure, sir. That'll be wonderful.
I have another engagement, so if I may be permitted, thank you very much, everybody. I'm very happy to meet you all.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sirs. Thank you.
And secondly, I'd like to thank Mr. Ajay Srivastav, who has been amazing always in supporting the startup community through STPI and all the forums that we see him in. I've met him a lot, and I've worked very closely with Mr. Ajay Srivastava on some projects. And of course, that ISB one, we were together for, I think, 3 days in ISB, and it was amazing to be with you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And yes, you mentioned collaborations. For sure, I think there will be a lot of requirement for a collaboration with STPI and with you yourself personally, sir, because we intend to help a lot of startups, entrepreneurs, and bring about a lot of jobs in the region through Punjabi Chamber. And I think a lot is coming from PCC in the coming days. And this is just the start. So we will definitely seek your support in the coming days, sir. Thank you.
Always, Param, and I think we are in the same boat.
Exactly,
So
sir.
helping startups is our mandate,
Right.
and our collaboration is very much required in that case.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being there with us today. And my special thanks for Mr. KDS Bedi. I think your words and enthusiasm was so much that everyone got charged up in this webinar, because otherwise this is not a very perfect way of meeting people and having a conference. These days this is the new normal, but I personally am never a fan of webinars, because when you exchange vibes by meeting someone personally over a conference, I think it's the best thing. But you sir, with your words and enthusiasm, you charged us all, and I think you gave amazing facts about the education industry growing in the region. And I think we'll definitely want you along with us in the journey of PCC starting from here today, sir. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, the pleasure was mine. Thank you very much for this brilliant opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Now I'll hand over to my friend and co-chair of PCC Chandigarh chapter, Sukhwinder, and great seeing you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Paramji. Good evening, everyone. Definitely, it's a great evening for all of us, especially when we are launching PCC Chandigarh today. So great thanks to our keynote speaker, Mr. Vivek Atreji, and our special guest, Ajay P. Srivastavji, for their great notes, which will be helpful for our members in various ways. Also, great thanks to Professor KDS Bediji. We hope to learn a lot of things from you in the coming days and in the coming sessions as well. Special thanks to Mr. Gary Pasichaji and other trustees for their wonderful initiative to found Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to our admin team and executive director, Mr. Sudeep Gilji, for all the hustle to make this event happen. And special thanks to my fellow co-chair, Mr. Param Kalraji, for making great efforts to get time from our speakers. And thanks to all the members and guests for finding time to attend this event, I would urge you all to having a proactive participation even in the coming days, because we want to make PCC Chandigarh stand out from other associations and organizations. As you know, there are a lot of organizations and associations working for their communities, but for the Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, we want all of you to have your participation so that we can make a real impact on the ground and to our members and to our associates. So at the end, I would again thanks to all of you for being here and making this event great with your presence. Thanks everyone. Over to you, Mr. Sukhdeep ji.
Once again, I'm again grateful to all who are present here, all the attendees, the PCC trustees, our coaches, Chandigarh Chapter Committee. Chandigarh Chapter Committee has in fact played a very great role in making this event happen. Be it the speakers, be it the media, they all made it happen. They approached everyone out there, and you know we had such a wonderful media coverage also. By the way, thank you so much, especially Suvir Sidhu. You played a wonderful role, and our coaches for inviting all the speakers here today, the keynote speakers and the special guests here. I'm grateful to Sir also, Mr. Gurpreet Pasricha for his mentorship, which is producing wonderful results today. And above all, my wonderful team here, Jinia and Vanita, you know, your support has always been there, right from early morning till, you know, late night. You keep working on, and you keep bombarded with me the ideas. Thank you so much, always, for being with me. Thank you very much. So we leave this evening here, and let's hope for a wonderful morning tomorrow and make PCC happen here in Chandigarh. Thank you very much for joining in. Thank you.